Welcome back to Bold TV. I'm David Grasso. Joining me today is none other than former Ohio Congressman and, of course, the former mayor of Cleveland, Dennis Kucinich. How you doing, Congressman?
David, it's good to join you today. It's raining today in Cleveland, but I'll accept the sunshine from Orlando.
Well, it's raining here too. So you have a new book out. It's called The Division of Light and Power, like ominous title, right? So tell us a little bit about the book. I know it's a lot about corruption.
Well, it is. And the story opens with, I had just been elected to city council in Cleveland at age 23. And I'm with my wife shopping at Christmas time, and all of a sudden, all the lights go off in downtown Cleveland, all the Christmas lights, everything out. And so I call the Division of Light and Power, which was Cleveland's municipal electric system. And I say, hey, what's going on? Why are all these lights off? And the boiler operator tells me that the city couldn't get a backup for its power from the private utility, the Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company. And that started me asking questions. I got into city council, and the reader is brought along to this, in this story of corporate espionage, sabotage, undermining the city in so many ways, leading to an organized crime conspiracy for assassination. And, this book has it all, but the root of it is corruption, both corporate and political.
So why do we tend to focus on one type of corruption? I know you're from the left, but on the right, we tend to focus on government corruption. And on the left, we tend to focus on corporate corruption.
Why? They're both right.
Yeah.
David, they're both right. I mean, the truth of the matter, look, at inside government, 16 years in Congress. I was in hearings where the government couldn't account for $1 trillion in spending on the and defense. I know the government wastes money, but in this case, this story was about an illegal attempt by a corporation to try to basically steal the city's municipal electric system so they could have a monopoly in the city of Cleveland and raise everybody's rates to pay off their rising debts on nuclear power plants. So, the story is one where corporate and political come together, as is often the case, to do things that are not good for the general public.
So we have a problem these days, and I know you're retired, but in a lot of cases,
retired.
No, you're retired from Congress, of course. Yeah. The left and right don't talk to each other, and you were considered pretty far left in your day, right? And now we've seen the goalposts move on that, right? Why don't the sides talk to each other?
Well, now I'm considered center. But let me tell you what I did. I made it a point to talk to people on both sides of the aisle. I felt it was so important to have communication. I often point to the eagle, which spreads its wings across the canopy of the House of Representatives, that, I tell my colleagues, see that eagle? It needs two wings to fly. And so my feeling has always been that there is an underlying unity in America. We have to find it and act upon it and stop this hyper-partisanship, which is tearing our country apart.
So you talk a lot about corporate interference and in our government coming from both sides. Do you think a lot of that is, kind of sowing the seeds of division?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime that you get people who want to have privileges that take money away from one group and give it to another, you're always going to have some kind of conflict. And as I point out in the book, The Division of Light and Power, I was the mayor. I was elected mayor at age 31, and I fought City Hall. Because you think, City Hall is just a building where government work is transacted. No, City Hall, as I write, was in the boardroom of utility monopolies, of banks, and the meeting rooms of the mob. And because they all had influence in the workings of government until I was elected mayor. And I changed that. But that didn't mean there wouldn't be a ferocious battle over the control of the city's assets, in this case, the municipal electric system.
So let's talk about activism. A lot of activism these days involves, a social media post or making, some sort of statement or agreeing with some sort of, hand-picked issue that divides us. Is this generation not realize that, like, whether you're on the left or the right, we kind of want the same thing?
You're absolutely right. We do want the same thing, essentially. Now, There's different ways to approach it. We have to search for our commonalities. When I ran for president in 2004 and 2008, what I discovered in America was an underlying unity. And you know, we are one big American family. Every family, I don't care, you know, your viewers know that in every one of our families, we have differences, but there's still love for each other. And so we can't forget the importance of love of our country and love of our fellow Americans in the context of celebrating this nation that we have. Does it have problems? You bet it has. Are we going to overlook those? No. Are we going to set aside all the debates? Absolutely not. But we need to do things more with a spirit of compassion for each other, and not just try to rip each other's hearts out. I mean, this is really a dangerous moment in our country's history where the polarization threatens to destroy our country. And the truth of the matter is that there isn't only one way of looking at America. There's many different ways of looking at it. And we hear these various voices, we call the roll, we take the vote, and one side may prevail one day and another side may prevail another day, but hopefully our movement is always forward.
So one last question. Do you feel vindicated because kind of the general political spectrum has moved left in this country? Because they were pretty hard on you, Congressman. Like, you were the socialist demon back in the day, and I'm old enough to remember that. And now it kind of seems like you're the Democratic Party at large in the Biden administration. Do you feel like your politics have been vindicated by what's happened in the past 10 years?
Well, I think yes, and I think what's happened is there's an awareness that, you know, people were saying, well, Dennis was ahead of his time. Well, this is our time now. And I speak as someone who's in the moment, saying we need to find ways to unite our country, to come together as one America. And this isn't just some homily. This is the result of 54 years of experience in government. I mean, this story, the division of light and power, this opens up when I was a young councilman. The story starts 52 years ago. I understand politics in a very deep way. And I also understand our nation. And I tell you, we have a great country. Yes, we have some serious problems, but we need to work together to resolve them and without attacking each other. So, you know, I hope that now, from the position I'm in now, that I can join with our friends, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, in helping to move this country in a direction where we can all celebrate America.
Well, that's amazing. So thank you so much for that positive message, Congressman, and hellos to your wife and to the state of Ohio.
And thank you for your awareness of this vexation that the country has right now about left, right. We're all one Americans, and we ought to remember that. Thanks so much.
Of course. I'm on the opposite side of you, Congressman, but we had a great conversation. So thank you.
And thank you so much. Bye now.
Of course. And thank you all for watching. Follow us at Bold TV for more fascinating interviews. Until next time, I'm David Grasso.